For more than 80 years, UNCF, or the United Negro College Fund, has worked to ensure its vision of all Americans having access to a college education becomes a reality. Since its founding, UNCF has raised more than $5 billion and helped more than 500,000 students attend college, successfully stepping into leadership roles professionally and in the community. We are happy to have Lisa Rollins here with us today to help us understand more about the important work that UNCF is engaged in daily. Lisa is the Regional Development Director for UNCF. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. People are usually familiar with the slogan, the UNCF slogan. Mind is a terrible thing to waste, but they may not be as familiar with everything that UNCF does. Help us understand that, please.
So when we started in 1944, Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune, and I say that with emotion because I'm a graduate of Bethune-Cookman College, and so is my mom. But when we started in 1944, our job was primarily for historically Black colleges and universities that were in the private sector. So that's where people get confused. It's not that we don't fund at all HBCUs or even predominantly white institutions. But when we first started, it was the private colleges who could not receive as much money, and that's why they banded together and formed UNCF. So today, 81 years later, our donors, we have general scholarships that our donors, so then if you were to give us a gift and you wanted to say, I want to give this gift to students who are majoring in STEM, and they come from Wisconsin, and they come from this zip code. So our donors dictate kind of sometimes where our scholarships go, even though we have a general scholarship fund. And sometimes the preference could be for an HBCU, or it could just be for any 4-year or 2-year accredited college or university.
So folks may be familiar, just as you were talking about the scholarships that UNCF offers, but there is so much more to UNCF and how it helps prepare students than just scholarships.
Absolutely. So we also do advocacy on behalf of our colleges and students, and we do advocacy on behalf of all HBCUs, even though there are 103 and only 37 are member UNCF institutions. When we go to on the Hill to advocate for historically Black colleges and universities, we just don't do it for our 37 member schools. We do it historically for everybody because they all have the same issues. The other thing that we do, and we do it here in Milwaukee, is we do an Empower Me Tour, which is college and career readiness. So the Empower Me Tour comes to the Milwaukee Public Schools. It comes in November. The students can come to this, and what happens there is they can get automatic admission at just not our schools. We also have local colleges that we invite to come. We teach job skills, job readiness. So we'll have a workshop for guys about how to deal with conflict resolution. How do you tie a tie? Because everybody doesn't have a dad at home to learn how to tie a tie. We do soft interview skills, and we talk about what do you want to major in college? What are your interests? What geography? Do you know where you want to go? And the day ends in a big session where there's actually scholarships awarded. And so that's been going on in the Milwaukee Public Schools now for about 6 years.
So even before young people may be thinking about exactly where they want to go to school or what they want to study, UNCF is there to help.
We are. And people often call me, and what I often say to them is I send them to our website, which is uncf.org/scholarships, because we put up scholarships every week. And I will give them a tip about something that's happening. You only have 1 more month to do this, but on the second Tuesday of every month, and it usually starts in October, we offer something called Dethrone the Loan. What is that, Lisa? It is a scholarship session that parents, students, counselors, teachers, anybody that has an interest in education and how do you apply for a scholarship. We have a webinar, and we talk about the scholarships of the month, and we give tips on how to apply for our scholarships and scholarships in general.
So the Dethrone the Loan is really designed to help young people know about scholarships so they don't end up with a lot of student debt.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 95% of our students are on some type of financial aid that attend HBCUs. And so that's a really critical point to remember, because when we say financial aid, it is not all the Pell Grant. It is not all scholarships. It's loans, and you have to pay those back. And so I often tell students and parents, have an open mind, because you may be set on going to University of Wisconsin. That's where you may be set on going. But you may get a better scholarship offer somewhere else. And it's important for you to have an open mind about what you want to major in and where you want to go. My question always is, do you want to graduate debt-free, or do you want to have to pay? And I hope most time the answer is you want to graduate debt-free.
You also have, UNCF has a really special relationship with the historic Black colleges and universities it partners with. Tell us a little bit about that relationship and why it remains so important today.
Well, I think one of the reasons we've had this relationship is because we continue to be a pathway to upward mobility. We just talked about that a little bit. We know that a first-generation college student automatically propels not just themselves, their entire family into middle or upper middle class status. So that's a really big thing. And these upwardly mobile people that graduate, then they start working for our companies or becoming teachers, and they become productive citizens. So a lot of these companies are willing to help us because they want to help their community and they want to get these students back. There also may be companies that come to us because they are seeking to recruit diverse candidates. I know that's a controversial topic, but that's what they were coming for. Before we had DEI, UNCF was receiving information from companies saying, we would like to hire your students. Before it got all these great names, we used to call it the Corporate Scholars Program, and we had these relationships with companies. We would identify a pool of students, not necessarily just from our schools. We would send the criteria out based on what the company wanted, and hopefully the student would intern there 1, perhaps 2 summers in a row, and then leave with a job offer. Most of those programs also offer a scholarship component, so you can work during the summer, and then they'll give you a $5,000 to $10,000 scholarship to come back to school.
The scholarships, as you say, really depend upon the generosity of corporations and individuals as well.
Yes.
You have an event that's coming up on March 29th, the UNCF Mayor's Mess Golf, and people would be able to help out. Tell us a little bit about that.
Mayor Cavalier Johnson is amazing. He started doing this mass ball for UNCF when he was just the interim mayor. And then when he was elected, he's done it for 2 years, and now this is his 3rd year. He's been very supportive, and it's the 10th year for the Mayor's Mass Ball, and he actually worked on this ball or helped the mayor before, so he had some history of this. And education is just as important to him as it is to us. He is a huge proponent of education. We also have a group of young professionals in Milwaukee called Masterminds, and these are young professionals who have graduated from college, not necessarily an HBCU. They've just achieved, and so a play on the words, masterminds. So they've mastered, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. So that's the mastermind part. But they're young professionals who have graduated from college and may have left Milwaukee but come back to Milwaukee to establish businesses, to work for corporations, to make Milwaukee a better place to live. And we hope that their experience is coupled with ours in helping the mayor, because they're part of the committee that's helping this year. Not only that, Nina Johnson from U.S. Bank, and I saw U.S. Bank on your sign there, but Nina is our gala chair for the first time, a corporate gala chair, working along with Mayor Johnson, and it's been amazing. She is absolutely an amazing person.
She is. Well, we have information on the screen, the website that people can go to get tickets, other information, they can donate, but it's important that they know all the things that UNCF does. So Lisa, we really appreciate you being here with us today.
And I really thank you very much for this interview, and I hope to see you on March 29th.
Hey,
it's just an invitation.
All right, Lisa. Well, thank you so much. That is it for this week. Take care, be well, and we will see you again next week on Connect MKE.